Well, with me is the BBC reporter Rich Preston. Rich, some pretty extreme measures announced there.
Yes, absolutely. Not allowed to leave the home unless you're picking up essential supplies, going to an essential job, going to take care of a vulnerable person, really clamping down life in Britain. And this is after a weekend where we saw people out in parks, visiting the beach, climbing hills, all surrounded by dozens and dozens of other people. The government, up until this point, has encouraged people to stay at home. It's advised them to kind of minimise their contact with other people. But it's got to the point now where they're saying enough is enough. We're now going to have to mandate this and give the police powers to break crowds up if they see them.
Yeah, the Prime Minister's saying that people are now obliged to act. Why this change of course from the government, from advising and now forcing?
Well, it's because the UK death rate from coronavirus just keeps rising. And unfortunately, it's following a pattern that we've seen elsewhere in Europe. If we take a look at this graph, Italy, which has got the highest number of deaths from coronavirus in Europe, they had 233 deaths on the 7th of March. Britain reached 233 deaths on the 21st of March. So that is following in the footsteps of Italy, and they really don't want this death toll in Britain to keep following the steep curve that the Italians saw. So this is all about self-isolation and keeping people apart and social distancing. And the reason that's important is because scientists say that one person infects 2.5 people with coronavirus. And so after 30 days, that one person who's infected 2.5 people has then gone on to infect more than 400 people. Obviously a huge number, a huge strain on the health service. However, if you halve the number of people that first person infected down to 1.25 people, then after 30 days, you're left with 15 people who've been infected. So a 95% reduction. So this is all about keeping people apart and trying to cut that infection rate in the hope that it'll cut the death toll as well.
Yeah, it's really interesting, and potentially further measures to come if people don't abide by the current rules.
Potentially. The government's left that one open. They've said they're going to review these current measures in 3 weeks' time and see how effective it's been, but they've not ruled out other further options as well.
Yeah, Rich, really interesting, and it's going to be interesting to see how people react to those measures. Thank you very much indeed for the latest. Rich Preston there.